The Tour Championship is this week. And while it's not necessarily the easiest tournament to bet, not necessarily the easiest tournament to build a lineup for, I love it. And I want to see who wins at East Lake this week. Fairway to Heaven wrapping up Season 5 live in 30 seconds. And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fairway to Heaven Season 5 finale right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, YouTube and Twitter. Please, wherever you're watching, hit that like button, hit that share and subscribe button, please, and vote on our poll question only on the YouTube page. If you're watching on Twitter, head over to the STT Sports Network YouTube page for that. Do they need to change the Tour Championship and playoff structure on the PGA Tour? That is where you vote on that, guys. I am Phil Stifel. We get Soldier Steve one more time this year. Steve Fuentes, my man. Good evening, Steven. How you doing here?
I'm good. Ready to talk. Like you said, this is like the mano a mano of golf, right? This is the elites going up against each other where, hey, course history, it shouldn't matter because these are the best golfers from this season, right? So this is what you want to see. Game 7 almost.
Yeah, it's Game 7. And you know what? That's before we talk Scottie Scheffler, before we talk Rory McIlroy, before we talk whoever's going to win the Tour Championship. Obviously, there's been major changes. The starting strokes, for those that don't know, if you're new to the show or new to golf betting, in the previous years, the Scottie Scheffler, who's got the most FedEx Cup points, would start at -10 before the tournament started. He would start with a 10-stroke lead over some of the people. He would start with a 2-stroke lead over second place, etc. It's all gone. Everyone's starting even. And you just said it's Game 7, and everybody thinks that the Tour Championship and the playoff structure needs changed. And I'm here, and I finally made my official opinion after 5 years of doing this show. The Tour Championship and the playoffs don't need to change. They are perfectly the way they are, and here's why. How many times? The regular season MVP, all that stuff happens in all sports, and then they get to the playoffs. And the team in the playoffs with the best record doesn't always get to the championship, isn't always the champion. The New England Patriots, what year was it? Went 16-0, ran to the Super Bowl, and then got upset by a wild card team. It happens. We've seen Butler, mid-major teams in March Madness, make it to the Final Four of the championship games in March Madness. You know what I mean? You know, how many times the Phillies made it to the World Series as a wild card team, not as a division winner? How many? 2011. What did they win? 108 games that year, the Phillies. Didn't make it out of the first round of the playoffs. That's what the playoffs are for. It's the hottest team winning a playoff tournament, so to speak. So I think I've finally come to accept there's two different things. You've got your regular season MVP, Scottie Scheffler, and whoever gets hot in the playoffs wins the playoffs, wins the Tour Championship. And I think that's okay. Now, we'll get into it. There's other things that they can do to maybe spice it up, make it more entertaining for the fans, because outside of the hardcore fans like you and I, most of us aren't going, most of the casuals won't be interested in watching a much slower tournament with only 30 golfers, you know, on the course at a time. But in theory, it's no different than any other sports playoff format, is it? The best, and they just keep advancing. Do you get what I'm saying? And I don't know, you could give me what you thought, but first, what's your thoughts on what I'm saying here and why I've come to this conclusion?
It essentially, you start with 16 teams, right? In playoffs for the most part, 14 teams, and then it's instantly cut in half, and then it's cut in half again, and then it's cut in half again. So, I mean, that's essentially what this is when you got your, what is from 70 to 50 now to 30. And what you would say, Jacob Bridgman, right? Who's gone, what is it? I wrote it down, T17 and T19. In the first two playoff events, he's your Butler, right? He's your George Mason of the dance, right? Because now they've made it where you can have a guy like Sepp, who sat out for personal reasons last week, Rory, who didn't participate in the FedEx tournament. So you now get away from that, whoever was in first, Scottie getting that 10-stroke lead and everything. It's all even ground, Goddard, another guy who has played like crap in the playoffs, but to end the regular season, really got himself into contention for this moment, sort of deal. So no, I'm with you on your theory and accepting it. I went back when you sent me the rundown for today. I was like, all right, you know what? How can we make this better? So I went into my head, and so this is what I was saying, because I think if you want to, for the people who want a full field, right, and want cuts, because personally, I know Jason hates the no cut events.
Yeah, in general, I hate him. I generally hate him in the regular season as well. Yeah,
but now this is when it's like, okay, hey, I can see why you don't have.
I mean, if you,
well, how about
when we get to the Super Bowl, how many teams play in the Super Bowl? 2. How many teams play in the World Series? 2. You don't keep all 17 teams, 16 teams right through the end of the playoffs. The best 2 play, and this is the best 30 golfers playing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. This is what I wrote down. This is what I came up with, and this is more like of a regular season to lead you into the playoffs and how you can qualify for the playoffs. Right? I said, if you make 75% made cuts, you're in.
Okay.
So I feel like that gets you, but you also have to golf a minimum of a certain amount of tournaments, right? And I would say that number is 12, because another thing that could get you into the playoffs instantly to make the field bigger, you win any week on the DP World Tour, Corn Ferry, Live, or PGA.
You're throwing Live in there too. Wow.
Well, yeah, because here's why. Because now there's no cut events, because in signatures and majors, you allow the Live guys to play. And so that's 12 events throughout the year that you would have at least Live guys the opportunity to now get into the playoffs, right? And for the signature events, the top 30 Live golfers get to participate instantly. So that could vary throughout the season too. It makes Live a little bit more important than just guys going out there and, like, what's it called? Neiman won 5 events this year.
Yeah.
Rahm won 0, yet Rahm is your Live golf, champion. So that's what I'm thinking. And then once you get to the playoffs, whoever qualifies for the playoffs, points start over. And then each week your field dwindles down from there.
I like the point starting over idea. I like some of your other. I don't think Live and the DP World Tour would ever be included in the PGA Tour, because the PGA Tour is its own entity in their playoffs. Yeah. Maybe if you want to have the Tour champion go head to head with the Live champion, go head to head with the DP, like they used to. They don't do it anymore. They used to do at the end of the season, all 4 major champions would go to Bermuda and play the Belmont in a skins game kind of, format, or a Ryder Cup kind of format, 4-way thing. Maybe you could do that to kind of spice up the game, also bring the game together. But I like your idea. Like, you can, I think your ideas more go towards changing the points format throughout the year to qualify for the playoffs. And I like that, because I think that needs to, like, this is not a knock, and your ideas would get Hideki in there, but Hideki Matsuyama won the first tournament of the year, hasn't had a top 10 even since then, but he's in the playoffs, and he's made it, and he's made it all the way here to the Tour Championship. So maybe there needs to be change in the points format throughout the season. Maybe that is something that has to happen. But the way the Tour Championship is structured, I'm perfectly fine with it. And I like it without the starting strokes. Like I keep going back to the Patriots versus the Giants, the undefeated Patriots losing to the Giants. It's not like because the Patriots were undefeated up to the Super Bowl there that they got to play with 12 men on the field versus the Giants 11, right? It was still even playing field. You know what I mean? So, and on any given Sunday, on any given week on the PGA Tour, anybody can win, right? I mean, we've seen the Brian Campbells of the world, win multiple times this year because on any given week, anybody can win. I like the idea of changing the playoff structure, how to get to the playoffs. Maybe you do away with the points completely. You've got to win events. You've got to have X amount of top 10s. You've got to, like you said, make certain amount of cuts, play in a certain amount of events. I love those ideas from you. Maybe you just do away with the points altogether. Just make the playoffs
that too.
3-part aggregate like the final Big Brother final. I know Big Brother's a reality TV show. I know nothing about Big Brother. No clue. I've never watched 1 minute of that TV show. I just know the name of it. Sorry, Rashad. Maybe that docs
I only
me
know Big Brother from the challenge because they have people like on the real the challenge now. So that's all. I've never watched it either.
Yeah, I've never watched. I can't say I've watched any of the challenge in 20 plus years either. So anyway, that's a side story. I love the idea. I think the biggest problem that they have with the Tour Championship, it's just not viewer friendly. And golf in general is not user friendly. But why wouldn't they use this, Steve, to try out new technology? Different shot tracers, different interviews, different camera angles on the course. Like, they can use this, maybe have some of the golfers that didn't qualify. Have Michael Kim. Shout out to Michael Kim. I tried to ask you to come on the show. You haven't responded yet. Like 6,800 people liked the comment, but no one, you haven't responded. Have Michael Kim doing the on-course interviews on one of the holes, at East Lake. Do something like that. Or here's another idea to excitement, bring more. Have the next year's U.S. Open, the host of the Tour Championship. Or have, a rotation of major courses as the Tour Championship set, always East Lake, which East Lake in Atlanta, it's going to be hot. It might get a little wet early in the week. It's going to be whatever. They got
20 years now.
It's I think 2004, 2005 was the first year. I mean, it's a good course. It's a tough course. Don't get me wrong. Last year's over 20 under winning score doesn't happen often at East Lake, but they got to make it more entertaining for the fans in some way. So the casual fans are speed it up. I don't know how to speed it up. They got their tee times for 30 golfers spread out over 75 hours on Thursday. Maybe bunch them up a little bit, have three. So, do something to speed up the pace of play. Instead we're going to have 8 hours of viewing of golf, which is fine for me and you, but not for everybody else.
And for whoever their sponsors are, because you're going to get tons of commercials in there, right? But I like the idea of having, and it sucks for them, but this is, I don't know how you can work it into like maybe a contract that like, hey, you could be called upon someday on Thursday through Sunday to come and do, an interview on a hole. Like you're going to be the guy who interviews people and everything like that. Like when they do with Smiley, happy hour with Smiley and stuff like that on Thursday and Friday. But I like that idea of having.
I got another.
Almost like
I got another
TGL
really out of left. I got another really. Oh, I didn't even think you could add some of that. Oh, so I had another idea, but we might tweak the idea in a second because you brought up TGL, which season 2 is coming out December 28th. I like they're starting that earlier this year.
Yeah.
My other idea was because making it to the BMW, you get in all signature events, getting to the Tour Championship, get you a 2-year exemption, no matter what on the PGA Tour, get you into the 3 U.S. based majors for I forget how many years. Have a second tournament at East Lake. So you have the top 30 playing for the Tour Championship, right? And then you create another 100-man field with a cut. And the winner of that, there's no prize. Well, maybe there's some prize money on the line. I don't know how you would do it. The winner of that event also gets something. Or anybody that's not, anybody outside the top 50 that got to the BMW, have a second tournament at the same course for the right to get into all the signature events. A second chance tournament. Yeah. Maybe you do a second chance tournament on some TGL screens at the same time. So during the dead air time, you're flipping. I'm just saying, I didn't think about the TGL thing out very well, but the second chance tournament, kind of an idea I've been bouncing in my mind. I haven't even said it out loud till just now. What are your thoughts on a second chance tournament for the guys that haven't qualified? Maybe you just take all the guys that didn't qualify for the playoffs, period. I don't know. Maybe just the guys that didn't make the top 50. I'm thinking out loud here, just so you know.
Yeah. I was just getting ready to say, I would say if it's top 70 who make the playoffs, you just make it your from 31 to 70 now.
Mm-hmm.
They play the morning wave.
Yeah.
You know, on Thursday, see how they do, and then, you know, you flip-flop and everything like that. But those guys go so, you know, separate that you can tell who are your top 30, you know, when their tee times are. No, I like that. I wouldn't even be opposed to possibly trying to play your way into the tournament on, like, hey, if you
the play-ins, you get the play-ins with the NCAA March Madness now, and I hated the idea at first, going from 64 to 68, whatever it was, or 66, whatever that number was, by adding those extra teams, like have a Wednesday play-in round. I don't know if that would work, because now you're
almost like the longest day in golf all over again.
You're trying to make the 4 rounds more entertaining for the fans. So I don't know if a fifth day does it, but somewhere in there you could do something, right?
What if you did like they have Monday off and fly to wherever they're getting to, and then it's Tuesday, Wednesday, 2-round play in the top 5 or the top 10 can make it into the final round or the final, you know, the tour championship, and it's 31 through 40, and there's 40 spots. There's 9 at-large spots for the tour championship.
The second chance tournament idea came from a couple different things. Came from the fact that, like, the NITs run at the same time as the NCAA March Madness. You've got stuff like the bubble. I'm a big poker. I used to be a big poker player. World Series of Poker. The people that go out on the money, the bubble. You know, people they get a free entry into the next one. You know what I mean? So so they get a second chance to win the big one. So I mean, the World Series of Poker, it's the next year, whatever. But given that second chance to qualify, because I think of guys like, I watched pretty much all day on Sunday. I watched the final round, and I was watching the numbers just like you were of who's inside the bubble, who's outside the bubble. And I was cheering on 2 golfers. One, Michael Kim, because he's a fantastic social media follow, very interactive with fans. He's responded to some of my questions before. And Ricky Fowler, because I know Ricky Fowler's gotten a bad rap this year because he's gotten too many, you know, freebies into tournaments that he shouldn't have been into on sponsors exempt. But he's actually played really well this year. You know what I mean? I mean, he hasn't won anything this year, but he's been in the top 25 a whole bunch of times this year. So I was really rooting hard for those 2 guys, and they both were just
big on him this year.
Yeah,
you had him.
Both of those guys missed out by like fractions of a point. So getting them a second chance into majors and stuff like that, I'm just throwing it out there. I think it's an idea. That
was me with Kirk the week before.
Right.
I was watching him and who was it? Perez, I think, who they kept going. They'd be 29, 28, and the next thing you know, 33. And it was like, oh man. But yeah, no, I am with any idea that goes with keeping the tradition as much as possible to golf, but also expanding it to make it fan friendly in today's world of, you know, you can play through commercials. We want everything right there. We can have it on X, Twitter, Facebook, like that, instantly sort of deal. So give us more, maybe a sportscast view, simulcast, how they have, you know, the coaches talking on ESPN2. You know, you have every golfer who wants to, you know, a group of 5 who didn't qualify to go talk about, oh man, this is what I would have done on this hole.
I like the simulcast idea because we don't know enough about these golfers' personalities. Can you imagine? Well, Shane Lowry's in the field. I'm just trying to think of a couple golfers drinking beers. You put a simulator next to them, you know, beers and the game, and they're hitting golf balls on a simulator. They're talking about the event, what's going on. I would watch that 1,000 times over than the regular broadcast.
What about a caddy cast where you have caddies who are like, oh, like known caddies who are just
Right.
going to be like, oh my gosh, yeah, no, let me tell you about a story when I was with such and such on this hole. This is
Yep.
what, man, people, you would have the older crowd too coming
Yeah.
in to watch that if they knew, oh, such and such is going to be calling or, on this channel. That would be, you could do a lot of stuff with that.
Okay. Let's talk about the Tour Championship real quick. East Lake, Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be hot. It's Atlanta. It's the deep south. It's still summer. There's going to be some rain, whatever. They've lengthened the course to almost 7,500 yards this year. It's now par 71. It's one of those courses where you got to hit your approach shots. It is a great test. You got to hit your approach shots. You got to hit the fairways. You got to hit it far. Tee to green. You also got to be in really great recent form. So the question is, does Scottie win it or does somebody else? And what does a golfer need to do to beat Scottie this week?
You need to continue whatever story you're on that got you here, and it needs to be 4 rounds of spectacular golf. You have to be able to go look Scottie in the eye on Sunday for 18 holes and do what Bobby Mack couldn't. You could see it all over it. It looked like that 9th grader that walked up to that senior at lunch and was like, oh, like bumped into him and was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean. Watching that view of Bobby Mack and his caddy when Scottie hit that shot on 17, I felt bad. I legit was like, damn. But I thought this was funny that they changed the course in 2024, right? To a par 71. But because of Scottie, they're turning that par 4 14th that changed into a par 5 back to a par 4 because of Scottie. It has to be. They said they got to make it
back to Scott. They used to Tiger proof courses. Now they're Scottie proofing courses.
Scottie proofing courses.
There you go. So obviously, on a DraftKings, it's hard to do DraftKings lineups. I still have a couple that I'm putting out there because I'm a crazy and I've done court tournaments all year long. So if I do 3 more events, I get to 25,000 crowns for completing 4 lineups every single week all year long. So I got to complete the achievement. So I get 25,000 crowns.
That.
Yeah, they do it. If you do a main one and then a showdown 3 other days. So if you do one lineup all 4 days, every single event, they give you 25,000 crowns. And I didn't even know I was on par. Like some years I've hit it, some years I haven't. I accidentally looked the other day. I'm like, shit, I still got a chance. All right, I'm back on board. I'm in every single week. The 25,000 crowns, that covers my football lineups for how many weeks? So, it's always good. So anyway, playing Scottie, betting Scottie, it's very tough. I mean, he's like plus 150, plus 180, depending on where you look, which is next to no money there to be made. Yeah. I will say I did make a parlay with him and Matt Wallace, who's in the field. The British Masters is going on. There's a bunch of PGA golfers that aren't here playing in the British Masters. So a Scottie win with a Matt Wallace win in the British Masters, who he was 8th place in this event last year, the British Masters. So he's played this event, the British Masters. I know nothing about it. I just looked at the leaderboard and picked one of those guys. 64-1. Scottie and Matt Wallace. He was only like 26-1 to win the event, Matt Wallace, plus the 180. Came out to 64-1. So I like that little bet there. But you can build DraftKings lineups with Scottie. It's do you or don't you? I know it's a tough call, and I know he's 13,900. And yes, it means you've got to get creative. So I'm just going to give it out to you. My Scottie Scheffler lineup. I did use Jacob Bridgman at 6,100. I did use Brian Harman at 6,500. But then I had to then I was able to go into the 6s, the 7s, and the 8s and build a pretty comfortable lineup. So it is possible to build. You have to make some tough choices. Do you go Jacob Bridgman? Do you go Sung Jam's another one just with Hideki? How's he even in this event? I don't know. Do you go with like a Lowry, a Harmon? Do you go Justin Rose, who's down there? There's a lot of guys that have been very red hot, over the last 3 to 4 weeks. You can do it, right?
Yeah, no, I have one of my Scottie lineups is Scottie, Spawn, Sepp, Hideki, Harris English, and I bet the bullet with Novak. So
okay.
You can get, I think, a solid 3 guys or 2 guys with Scottie And like you said, you're going to have to bite the bullet with someone like Bridgman, Sanjay, in this case, Novak, and just hope that at least for 2 of the rounds, they can produce, under par, because that's where you're really going to benefit. And you're going to have to hope that you picked the one pivot that everyone's trying to go off of if you're playing Scottie, because I think so many people are going to play Scottie because of these last 2 weeks that if you want to have any chance of actually competing in GPPs or anything, you're going to have to play Scottie. I don't think Rory's history here is going to play any part of his success here. He can go ahead and go get a T7, a T5, whatever. I don't want that. I'd rather build this 7K range isn't bad for you to be able to build with Scottie.
I love the 7K. I mean, Harry Hall, great putter, scores points, makes birdies. Corey Connors. I love Mav McNeely this week. Mav McNeely I made 2 bets this week, one of them being Mav McNeely. Mav McNeely has quietly had one of the best seasons on tour. I mean, is it hard to say that he's been underrated? I mean, 3rd last week at the BMW, 5th at the Memorial, made the cut at, I think he made the cut. He made the cut at all the majors. He's got a whole bunch of top 10s, some in signature events. He does literally everything well. And as we've said countless times on the show, Matt McNeely's, I don't know if he's jumped up from 11th to 10th yet in the world golf rankings, but he's basically a top 10 golfer in the world right now, and no one talks about him. So there is plenty of great options in this low 7K range. And to me, Matt McNeely is that guy.
I think even Corey Connors.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a guy, if everyone is starting at even par, he's a guy where, he's been, a little inconsistent, but I can see this being anywhere between 8 to 11 under as your winning score. I don't think we're going to get up there in the 20s or anything like that.
I think we'll get into the more 15, 16 range. Depends on the weather, depends on the wind and stuff like that, obviously, as well. But there's other names in this range too. I mean, there's storylines. You got Bobby Mack after the collapse last week. How does he react? Hideki. I joked with Jason. How funny would it be? The guy Hideki wins the first and last event of the year. Like, there'd be a story, right? He bookends the season. Ben Griffin, probably on the Ryder Cup team, but winning this week would solidify that. Cam Young. I mean, they're actually outside of Scottie. If you power rank the hottest golfers on tour right now, it'd be Scottie 1. It might be Cam Young number 2. And these are all 7K guys that you could play with this week.
What winning does for a golfer, right? Yeah. I mean, holy hell. I mean, look at Justin Rose. I think he's another person where if he has another week where he can put 4 rounds together, he absolutely can go out there and win this. And that's what I love of them getting rid of the starting, 10 under, 9 under, and so on. It just makes it
like I said, it's not like when you're 16-0 and in the Super Bowl, you get an extra player on the field. You know what I mean? Or your opponent loses a player on the field. Everyone starts even in the Super Bowl, World Series, etc. Same thing happens here, and that's why I'm okay with that. And I love that they did that. Other names like JJ Spawn, this course is eerily similar to the courses he's won and had success on this year. Sam Burns, Sam Burns is another good play. I think they got the price wrong on Patrick Cantley. I know he's had success in this event, but I think he's a little overpriced. And even in the 9K range with Russell Henley, Victor Hovland, Justin Thomas. You know what would be funny? And I think I gave you the narrative.
I know where you're going.
I know you went with it. I know I gave you the Decky narrative, but the Mr. Second Place Tommy Fleetwood. Wouldn't it be something if his first PGA Tour win was in a 30-man, no-cut championship event? Like, let's go out and win the event that's got $10 million on the line for first place. Let's make my first win the most dramatic win of the year.
How many grown men would cry Sunday if that happened?
Somebody's betting them this week, so, why not, right?
I mean, but for so many, like the diehard golf guys who hate that this is happening to Fleetwood, I think you'll have, tears of joy, throughout the country of golf
I'd have
fans
tears of depression because I've bet him so many times, and now I refuse to.
And now you want to go win this?
Now you want to win it? What?
I think even someone like Akshay.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he could get over the hump, of being part of that like up and coming golfers to be able to put his name up there, like kind of like what Victor did 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I think, golfers 1 through 30, every single one of them has a story kind of to be told this week.
What about Rory? What do you make about Rory? The guy that's won a signature event, won the Players Championship, won the Masters, and he's not even remotely close in the conversation for Player of the Year because of how damn good Scottie Scheffler's been this year. Like, does he have a statement that he needs to make by going out and winning this week? I mean, he's been good. Like, recently, it's not like he's been playing bad. I know he took off the St. Jude, but, I mean, his last couple events, a 12th at the BMW, 7th at the Open, 2nd at the Scottish, 6th at the Travelers, and 19th at the U.S. Open. That last 5-match stretch has been pretty phenomenal, Rory. So we kind of forget Rory's having a pretty amazing season. And if you want to get different in DraftKings, right now he's only projected at like 10% ownership because everyone's either going to Scottie or going way down cheap the board.
Way down, yeah.
Are we forgetting that Rory McIlroy, every other year, Rory McIlroy would be the player of the year right now. But because of Scottie, he's not.
And I would say how he played Thursday and Friday with Scottie, he just looked so outmatched. And it's not even like he played bad. That's like you said, it's not even like it just made, the story is all Scottie. And it kind of, I always do this thing with the golfers and basketball players, kind of reminds me of like Steph and LeBron, where the story just, you didn't even care about LeBron. Like if he had a bad game or whatever, because it was how good Steph was. And I think that's what you're getting right now. You're getting generational talent in Scottie that Rory had. He had the opportunity to be that and didn't fully grasp it the way Scottie has. I mean, hell, Scottie, I think they said up to this date, he's won $23.9 million. When you look at it like that, with a chance to go do this. And I think if you win the FedEx Cup, the points altogether, I think that's what, like an extra 10 or 12 million or something like that. It's crazy. So I just think
10 million for winning.
He's being overshadowed.
Yes. By the way, the prize pool,
I think he's just being overshadowed.
Second place is 5 million. Third is 3.7, 3.2. 10th place is 735 grand. Last place this week is still walking away with just over 350K this week. So everybody's making some money this week for making. Even Andrew Novak's getting a nice payday, or Jacob Bridgman this week. I made 2 bets. I already said I made a Mav McNeely bet this week at 35-1. I did make a Sam Burns at 28-1. And obviously I already mentioned my Scottie parlay with Matt Wallace winning the British Masters. But I am praying, I'm hoping that at some point on Thursday, Scottie's in the last group with Rory because they're going off of, to start the tournament, they're going off of their placements. So it'll be in the last group on Thursday. I'm hoping somebody early jumps out to 6 under. And I'm hoping that Scottie number, if I can find at some point this weekend, Scottie falls to 10-1. I've only put like not even a third of my normal weekly budget on the board. I've still got 2/3 plus of my budget because I'm hoping to just dump it all on Scottie at some point when his number just improves just slightly.
Yeah, no, and I feel like there's going to be that's the only way. It's really the only way this week too. I haven't even been able to try and get anything of like if a top 5 with Scottie with a top 5 of someone or a top 10.
Not even that good, yeah.
I think I might go maybe the college football route.
I went Scottie and every player in the top 10. And I think the best I got to was with Andrew Novak at like 12-1. And that was it. Yeah. Because there's only 30 golfers in the field, so finishing in the top 10 is pretty easy. So I understand why the odds aren't there. And DraftKings is so dumb. They don't have anybody finishing in the top 40 voting. How come I can't? No, I'm just kidding. That was a really bad
Can't
cheesy
find it.
joke. Yeah,
Keep
can't
finding
find
it.
those
Keep scrolling.
40 Can't
scrolling.
can't do it. I think I saw at one point Scottie to finish in the top 10 was like minus 18,000, like lay $18,000 to win a buck. That's how likely he is to finish in the top 10. It's pretty crazy.
Have the money to be able to want to place that bet. You know what I mean? I wish.
You made some interesting bets, and I actually like some of your bets this week. What were they?
I went JJ Spawn, 25-1, Sep, 30-1, Decky, 35-1, and then English, 40-1.
I really love the Hideki bet. I like the Spawn bet too, because Spawn has shown he's got some cojones to him. But I love storylines, and I think the Hideki bookend is a story that could happen. I mean, Hideki, we crushed Hideki like, bookending, and why is he even in the field? But he's a major champion, and he hasn't had a bad season. He hasn't finished outside the top 30 since early June.
No.
You know what I mean? He's got a boatload of top 25s this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 top 25s this year, including his victory to kick off the season. So he's played good golf this year, Hideki. It's just not been elite golf.
Yeah. And he has really good course history here. He's 7 top 15s, 4 top 10s, and 2 top 5s. So he's, again, if he can put it together for four rounds and not have that slow start, because I really think it's Thursday that gets him, because he can figure it out. He's great at figuring it out and then getting himself, like you said, into top 20, top 15 range, but it's the win. And so in a field like this, I'm hoping that course history, like you said, he's won before. He's a major winner. He knows what he has to do to win. Spawn, same thing. He's gone toe to toe with other big dogs in throughout the season, and then same thing with English. He just Mr. Consistency for 2025. So that's why I went with all those, because I really don't feel like anyone's going to beat Scottie though.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the few bucks I bet this week is just donkeying it off. You know what I mean? I think my 64-1 Scottie parlayed with Matt Wallace is a better bet than any of my other bets. You know what I mean? Like, and I did no research on the British Open or the British Masters. I just saw somebody that was in the top 10 last year. I don't even know if they play the British Masters at the same course. I just picked somebody from the top 10 last year that was in the field this year. I clicked it, saw 64-1, went boom, bet instantly. Because I mean, it's Scottie's tournament to lose. I mean, it goes back to that thing I asked weeks ago, and I don't have the numbers in front of me now. But Scottie Scheffler's been world number one for, I forget, 120 weeks in a row. He's got to go another 120 or 140 weeks in a row to surpass Tiger's consecutive number one, not overall, but consecutive. And the more and more I think about it, the more and more likely, unless he gets hurt, Scottie will break Tiger's record of consecutive weeks at number one, because he ain't slowing down and nobody's catching up to him. This is what, 3 years in a row of straight dominance from him? So.
No, and that's what it's the 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was like, eventually he'll tail off.
Yeah.
What he's doing is like Jason in movies, not Jason on Fairway, but, Friday the 13th, Jason, where, he doesn't need to sprint to catch you.
No,
he doesn't need to get off to a hot start. He's just going to creep up, and eventually on Sunday, you'll see him. Really, Saturday at some point, you're going to see him creeping up to the top of the leaderboard, and then there he is on Sundays in the final pairing or just in the group right before, creeping up on you, and it can be intimidating.
In the words of KGB, he's got unbridled enthusiasm. He just hangs around. Okay? Then he traps you and goes all in and takes all your money. It's basically, even last week, I don't know how much you watched on Sunday. There were multiple holes where Scottie missed short putts and made some mistakes. And nobody, like, even when he makes mistakes and he's not perfect, nobody can stop him.
I feel like some golfers wish they had his mistakes. Like, man, I wish I could miss like that, sort of deal.
Yeah. All right, real quick before we wrap this show up today. Obviously, we got the Ryder Cup in like 4 or 5 weeks. But I want to bring up another topic, and we've talked about this throughout the last couple years on this show about the fracture in golf between LIV and the PGA Tour. Obviously, one member of the LIV Golf Tour, Bryson DeChambeau, will be on Team USA in the Ryder Cup. Now, and he's an automatic qualifier with points and stuff like that. Now, Team USA has said that they are going to play all of them in the ProCore Championship, September 11th to September 14th, as a prep. Defending champion Pat Kaziri. They're going to play it as a prep for the Ryder Cup. And Bryson wants to be part of Team USA at the ProCore Championship. And the PGA saying, no, you can't play. And I get it. But if there was ever an opportunity for them to toss out the olive branch, it would be right here at this moment, right? And I think, again, it's the false swing. No one gives a crap about the ProCure Championship. No one cares about Sanderson Farms or Bay Current or Worldwide Technology or Butterfield Bermuda. Here's your opportunity to extend an olive branch. And the PGA Tour's, no, not in my house. What do you think of that? Should they have used this as an opportunity to say, look, you're a competing tour, but you know what? The Ryder Cup is bigger than it all.
We got enough like bickering and crap in this country, right? Why not have this opportunity in the Olympics, right? We have basketball players, WNBA players, hockey players, whatever, come from different teams to go together to their countries, right?
I didn't even think of that.
Do this.
It's a great point.
And this is countries representing countries, and players being able to represent them. And if we can put those differences aside for the World Cup, for Olympics and stuff like the baseball, World Baseball Classic, is this not the same thing? So it's almost like this is a high school personal beef where it's like, no, I'm going to take my basketball and I'm going to go home sort of mindset. And no, you can't play with us. You know, it's the boys, it's the little rascals putting the no girls in the on the door sign, you know, in the club, and the no boys in the girls club and stuff like that. It's dumb. Why can't you allow it for this one time sort of deal?
I mean, the DP Tour isn't stopping John Rahm and all these guys, not just in the off season, in the regular season playing on their tour. You know what I mean? So why can't we allow, not just at the ProCure, during the entire fall swing? I mean, what did I counted it before? I forget what the number is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
8.
7, 8 events in the fall winter swing. Why can't some LIV golfers play? And maybe that you might be able to get some more higher rank. There's certain guys on the LIV Tour that are losing their world golf ranking points, so we can't get the elite of the elite eventually in these majors. Get these guys a chance. I mean, me and you, we'll watch the ProCure. I'll watch Butterfield Bermuda because I played Port Royal many a times in Bermuda, and I love the memory aspect of that. But most people aren't watching those events on TV.
No.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
But you put Bryson in one of them, people will watch. You put anybody from LIV in it. Joakim Neiman losing points. Brooks Koepka falling behind in the points standing. Dustin Johnson isn't even qualified for some of the majors anymore.
Yeah,
they play these
that was
events
it this year. Yeah,
they play these events, and I know it's hard to do, but why can't all the other leagues do it? And the PGA Tour just can't get over they can't get out of their own way. They can't get out of their own ego's way, and it kind of pisses me off.
Yep. No, it's frustrating because, like you said, it's a perfect opportunity to reach that olive branch out and be like, hey, you know, let's try this and see how it goes. And maybe if it goes well, you know, we have a blueprint for future events, you know, to do something. But it's that get off my lawn sort of deal, get off my front porch, and it is what it is. You know, Bryson was good. He's been pretty professional about it too. Yeah. I know I would have been like, you know what, then I won't even play on the Ryder Cup then. How about that?
You know what? Old Bryson, grumpy ass Bryson would have been like that, but new Bryson, he's a little bit more mature in his way. You know, he's not causing drama. He's growing the game. he's doing everything he can to grow the game with his social media work, his YouTube work, shaking hands, kissing babies, whatnot. And they don't want him to grow the game, and that's a problem.
He looks like the bigger person in this situation, 100%.
Which is crazy to think that he's the bigger person. Really crazy to think that at this point. All right, so I want to ask one final thing here. This is the end. Well, let's do one and done. Most people stop their one and done. Unfortunately, we forgot to stop it, so we're doing one more week of one and dones here for the Tour Championship. Here is the one and done screen. I am literally 22,000 behind Jason. It is neck and neck. You're like 2.5, 3 million behind. But if you're one and done,
got a sad face for me.
Yeah, if your one and done wins this week, you can easily take over. If your one and done takes third place and ours don't, you can take over. Now, hold on. I wrote it down. I got Jason's one and done here. Jason's got Victor Hovland this week. I've got Maverick McNeely this week. And drum roll, please. Who's your one and done?
I have Decky.
Hideki Matsuyama. You're going for the bookend with Hideki here.
Yeah, I'm big on Decky this week for many reasons.
I love it because I like the Hideki bet. I don't want it to hit now because I want to win the one and done. So I think here's the real thing. I was going to say I want to thank everybody for season 5. We'll probably do a Procure Championship in 4 weeks. We'll probably do a show for that. We'll pick and choose depending on schedules in the fall swing. Maybe we do a short Ryder Cup show. I don't know. But this is the official end of season 5 of this show. Steven's first season as part of the team, which is great. And shout out to Jason. Unfortunately, with Jack starting football, he never can do the shows the last couple of weeks of the season every year because of football. The question is, if Hideki wins and you beat us in the one and done, do I invite Steven back for season 2? I don't know. For his, not season 2, season 6, his second season. I got to think. If Hideki wins,
even for the fall,
I might have to take auditions to replace Steven because we forgot. We screwed up the one and done. We're doing it one more week. Maybe I got to take auditions to replace you, Steven. But Steven, I want to say thank you.
Ticket out.
I want to thank you for being a part of this team this year and joining the Fairway to Heaven family. I can't believe another season of the show. We started this in November of 2020. We didn't even have a name for the show. It was just the November Masters. We did it for shits and giggles. And here we are 5 years later, wrapping up a 5th season of doing this.
Every person I tell about the show, they're always like, that name is so perfect. Like, that is crazy. I can't believe that name wasn't taken already for it. And it's like, no, it is such a good name.
2 things on it. Liv has stolen the name, and now Liv does a Fairway to Heaven podcast. My lawyers are calling their lawyers, but I think I'm going to lose that one. And then I'll tell you off the air the other story about the name, but I can't say it on the air. So, anyway, I want to thank everybody.
This is
another great season.
It's been great. Like it's very rare to find other golf heads like this who like it to play, watch it, and are a DFS degenerate when it comes to it, And so, no, to study up on the courses like I have, the players, this has been a lot of fun to do this on Tuesdays with you guys. So I appreciate you both.
Like I said, we'll do a few episodes throughout the fall. It's not official, but we'll do them. Stay tuned on our Fairway to Heaven Twitter page. We'll announce when we're doing shows. I'll still tweet out picks every single week as well. And we will be back in January for the Century Tournament Champions for next season as well. Season 6 is not going to stop. Well, maybe we'll add somebody else to the team. Maybe we'll add a 4th member to the team. Who knows? But anyway, it's time to wrap up season 5, guys. Thank you very much. Everybody have a great night. Let's see if Scottie can do it and cap off the season. If not, we'll see who wins, guys. Have a good night.
No, Decky.
Yeah, Decky. Bubbles up, guys.